Merry Brewmas, everyone! To show my appreciation for the immense amount of support you've all given me in 2021, I wanted to do something special for you guys this holiday season. So, welcome to the 12 Days of Brewmas, where I'll be posting a Christmas-themed video every single day for 12 days straight, and at the end of the 12 days, I'll be picking 4 random subscribers to choose whatever they want from the Reddit Brew merch store. All you have to do to enter is be subscribed and comment a Christmas tree emoji in the comments below. I will also be donating all profit I earn from my merch store for the month of December to the food bank to help families in need in my area. Anyways, we are back with the mascot mill of Brewmas, and that is, of course, Hellmark. Tomorrow will be the last day of this series, so go get your tablecloth-sized lace handkerchiefs and listen intently. I will link the other Hellmark stories in my pinned comment for those that need to catch up. But without further ado, let's merrily prance on into the JUSTNOMIL story. Hellmark and a belated tale of Mother's Day nonsense. To remind you all, Hellmark is my sister's mother-in-law, who thinks that makes her my mill as well, and it's the most dramatic, deranged June Cleaver playing a part in the trashy romance that she is living in her head. She is way too involved in my life and calls me her daughter to everyone, no matter how often I correct her. Mother's Day passed a little over a month ago, and my husband and I put our money together to send my mother and his mother to go to a very exclusive spa and get their amazing selves pampered in all the most luxurious ways. Now, this is definitely one of those places where you need to know someone to be able to get an appointment there in less than 3 months' time. And sometimes, even in that time frame, they will be booked. I got lucky, as my MOH, who is that no-nonsense, badass Polish chick that was maid of honor in my wedding and everyone's favorite wrangler of the crazies, had been working with the owner of the spa for years and happily arranged it for us. Since my mom practically raised her, and she adores my mill as well. It's a pretty great gift. We are talking healing mud baths, wine soaks, tea soaks, facials, manicures, pedicures, massages, the works, basically. My mom and Mill have never been pampered to this degree and we're very excited. Then sister found out about it and approached Bill about wanting the same thing. So brother-in-law called me a week before Mother's Day to ask if it was possible that my sister could have an appointment as well. I called MOH and she arranged it for sister as well. Can you all see where this is going? 'Cause I stupidly didn't. The Friday before Mother's Day weekend, Hellmark finds out about the spa and throws a fit. It didn't matter that Bill and his brother had planned a nice dinner with their cousins and their aunts, Hellmark's sisters, and the grandkids, aka her babies. She had to go to that spa because it's for all the mothers in the family. Way to ignore her own sisters. So, brother-in-law calls me at 11:30 p.m. on Friday night, and I groggily pick up the phone. I always have my phone on in case of an emergency at work, but I also make it clear to everyone that I am in bed by 10 p.m. since I wake up at 5 a.m. most days. And I hear Hellmark screeching in the background while Bill asks me if there's any way that I can include Hellmark in the spa day because she really wants to go. I am tired and irritated and had to ask him to repeat himself twice because I could barely hear him over the nonsense screeching, and I had just been woken up rudely from my sleep. I told him that MOH is out of the country for the weekend, and I had no way to contact her. Total lie, she was on a different coast, but there was no way in hell I would submit my wonderful Mill and mom to a day with Hellmark. He asked if there was any way for me to contact the spa owner, to which I promptly replied with a simple no. The background screeching and whining never stopped. Bill had a slightly desperate tone in his voice now, and asked me if I could call the spa the next day and ask to add on one more person. I flatly said that I know that it won't be possible because of the exclusivity of the spa and how last minute it was. I'm pretty sure that Hellmark heard me because her whines turned into sobs. At this point, I was annoyed and overtired, holding the phone away from my ear while Bill was trying to calm down Hellmark. My husband, who had also woken up from the commotion after coming off an 18-hour shift, promptly reached over and took the phone from me. He bitched out Bill for calling at this hour when they know very well that we get up early in the morning, that this wasn't an emergency, no, really it wasn't, and that it's absolutely unacceptable on his part. God, I love his vibranium spine. My husband exchanged a few more words with Bill and then hangs up on him and puts my phone on Do Not Disturb. The next day, I wake up to text from my sister asking me to contact MOH somehow because Hellmark really wants to go. I told her the same thing I said to Bill, that it just wasn't possible. I moved on with my day and was able to be relatively placated by my husband making my protein shake Frappuccino style. I didn't hear anything from any of them for the rest of the day. However, that evening, I get a call from MOH, who sounds both annoyed and amused. Apparently, the spa owner called her, amused, saying that the manager had an interesting conversation with a woman who claimed that she also had an appointment with my mom, Mill, and sister, and how she made a big stink that they lost her appointment, cried, threatened to go to the press, and basically did everything short of starting a riot. I just facepalmed right there and put MOH on speaker so my husband could hear about it too. Apparently Hellmark had called to confirm the exact time her appointment started, and when they couldn't find her in the system, she made a big stink that this was her Mother's Day gift. She yelled at the poor girl that made the appointment, who, according to MOH, was used to this type of nonsense from people, and simply transferred Hellmark to the manager, who has a gift for handling bullshit. The conversation was so overly dramatic that it stuck out, and the manager relayed it to the owner, who in turn called MOH to find out who the hell this woman was. My husband was laughing his ass off, and I just rubbed my temples and apologized to MOH and asked her to extend my apologies to the spa owner and his employees for having to deal with that nonsense. I was embarrassed for her at this point. I honestly have no idea how sister and Bill are able to deal with her nonsense to any degree. One would think that at that point, even the nuttiest of Just Knows would give up. Oh, but not Hellmark. The next day, my Phil drives my mom and Mill out to the spa, which is a good few hours drive for them. Sister was going to meet them there as she lives closer to the spa and would drive on her own. Imagine the surprise of my mom and Mill when they show up to the spa, only to see Hellmark instead of my sister waiting for them. Hellmark's dramatic nonsense somehow succeeded to convince my sister to give up her spot at the spa so Hellmark can go instead. She was gushing to my mom and Mill on what a good daughter my sister is and how all the matriarchs of the family are able to have a day together. Mill told me her mood went down so fast that she was ready to call Phil and say to Hellmark that they got the day wrong. However, both are glad that they did stay. Prepare your llamas for a great dessert. You see, this spa works in such a way that you cannot give your appointment to someone else. They have the name of the people attending the appointment, and even if you call ahead to let them know that someone else will be taking your place, you're usually denied. There is a waiting list for appointments in case of no-shows, and waiting list has priority. This has been their policy for years. Hellmark did not know this. The dramatics that occurred when the front desk denied Hellmark entry had my mom and Mill giggling like drunk teenagers all through dinner when they retold this all to us. Hellmark first did the hand moving to cover her mouth in shock thing and repeating, "I don't understand, that can't be." She then tried to insist that their policy isn't really their policy because she had frequented the spa many times, as in never, and had never had this problem before. She basically tried to act like she was a regular of the spa and kept calling the front desk girl by her name. She wore a name tag and was trying to convince her that they know each other. Front desk girl stood firm against the bullshit and just apologized that she wasn't allowed to change the policy or make any exceptions. And next came the crying. Hellmark started to cry in the lobby that her Mother's Day was ruined. And how could they treat her like this? She brought out the tablecloth-size laced handkerchief and had started crying into it loudly, attracting quite an audience, much to my mom's embarrassment, though both my mom and Mill said it was a hilarious sight. Finally, the manager came out, and wouldn't you know, it was the same manager she tried to pull this nonsense with the previous day. She recognized Hellmark's name, and probably will never forget the way she cries, because it's very distinct and unnatural. She told Hellmark that she remembers her from their talk the previous day, and told her in no uncertain yet polite terms that she did not have an appointment, and would not be attending any services that day. Well, that's when Hellmark started flat out wailing at the cruelty and how heartless the manager is to ruin her Mother's Day. And how dare she? Because Hellmark has connections to the owner, who she knows would be upset at how she was treated. Manager wasn't swayed, and asked her politely and firmly to leave the premises, because she is disturbing the guests. Hellmark then exclaimed loudly, "I will never come to this spa again!" According to Mill and my mom, the manager then said, "That's fine, since you are no longer allowed here anyways. No one who abuses our staff and disrupts our clients is allowed on the premises. Please leave." My Mill couldn't control her laughter when Hellmark was escorted out by security. While my mom was mortified at the time, but able to laugh about it later. Hellmark's husband had to turn around and pick her up and take her home, while she reportedly cried loudly waiting for him. My mom and Mill ended up having a fantastic day, and both loved all the pampering they received. I am glad they were happy, but I was pissed that my sister gave up her spot that I had MOH go out of her way to secure for her. I called her and managed to stay calm throughout the whole phone call and tell her that this is the last time that I am ever arranging something like this for her. I wasn't really interested in her reasoning as to why she gave it up. I just told her that this is embarrassing for me and for MOH, that a favor she did for me ended the way it did. I would never dream of putting her in that sort of position, and I am not putting up with Hellmark's nonsense because my sister has no spine. And then I hung up and my husband refilled my glass of whiskey. Honestly, I think this is the most Karen-like behavior we've seen of Hellmark thus far. I'm surprised she didn't pull the "don't you know who I am" card, but she did make up for it by pulling the "I know the owner" card. And I'ma be honest, the more we read these stories, the more I dislike OP's sister. She's honestly enabling Hellmark at this point. OP did a really huge favor for her sister by getting her into a prestigious spa, and she just handed it on over to Princess Mill like it was no big deal. I'm glad they all got their karma though, including Bill and Sil, because OP disclosed in the comments that they didn't get their money back. Lol. Anyways, I hope you are all enjoying this Hellmark series. I have one final Hellmark story for you all that I will be reading tomorrow. I'm actually pretty sad that this is coming to an end. Excuse me while I pull out my tablecloth size lace handkerchief. I feel like I know these people at this point. But anywhoville, I will see you all tomorrow for day 9 of Brewmas. Bye!